Stephen, just wanted your thought on what you've seen in the market related to clients really thinking about technology as driving business value as opposed to cloud reduces IT cost by 40%.
Yeah, I'll say two things. The first one is to an earlier point that you made. I think that the regulators are catching up. A lot of that probably has to do that they're now taking advantage of the cloud in a real big way. So they are catching up, and the regulations are starting to become in line with what's actually possible and what companies should be doing. And for those of you who feel that you might be affected in some way by regulations holding you back, I'd love to hear about it, and we can talk about how we can work together to solve that. You said a bunch of interesting things, and we were very careful with using the sort of phrase IT and the word technology not interchangeably. And I think there's a couple of forces at work that are really starting to to create that split and that divide in those two things. And one of them is the concentration on technology as delivering business value, and maybe traditionally that hasn't been associated with IT. I would take maybe even a little bit more of kind of a high-level macro view at that, and there's two things that I see. One is the proliferation of self-service technologies to allow people to use technology and everywhere in the organization, not necessarily just being maintained through central IT anymore. There's this very well known term in the industry, shadow IT, that sort of describes that, which can be a very big headache for CIOs, as it was for me, as your budget slowly gets eaten away by things that you're not accountable or don't have control over, which can be frustrating. But nonetheless, it happens, and that's largely because these technology solutions have become so much easier to use than they have been, and that will continue to happen. We're going to continue to make that happen, and that will continue to happen from the technology industry. And I think maybe a little bit more, philosophical. And I love that we heard a little bit about a junior recruiting strategy. I spent 11 years at Bloomberg, which hires 150 to 200 developers from college every year. I put in a program like that at Dow Jones, much more modest in terms of the number of people, and then Amazon as well has a very robust college hiring program. And I remember in 2009, I had one of the first versions of the iPad because we were developing an application for professional sports teams to look at all the pitches that their athletes were involved in, so they could frame by frame. And this was when I was CTO of Bloomberg Sports. And I come out of my bedroom one morning, and my 18-month-old at the time was flipping through the iPad and opening up apps and closing them. And I said to my wife, "Did you teach her how to do this? This is amazing." And my wife's like, "No, she hadn't even seen the iPad yet." And I was like, "Wow." And she's 6 now. My other daughter is 4, and they both have 2 Kindles that they use as their primary form of entertainment. They don't use the TV. And self-service, they do it themselves. We control what apps they can see and the time that they can use it, but other than that, we've taught them some games and stuff like that. And as I've done junior hiring throughout the years, in particular in the technology space, every year I feel that the quality of the candidates more than doubles. So every year I go out and I'm more impressed by a factor of 2 by the matriculating class. So as these folks come into the workforce, it won't be that they're all these sort of computer science or engineering majors. They'll be from many disciplines that go into many different areas of business and corporate and the corporate world, and they'll all be well equipped to use technology in ways to suit them. And I think there's just going to be this bigger movement of this sort of decentralization of IT where it becomes more technology. And I think, like I said before, the companies who don't embrace technology as a value driver for their business better rethink their strategy.
And I'll just say one other thing, and then we'll open it up for your questions. I mean, and maybe even 5 years ago, shadow IT was a dirty word, and it was a job as consultants to measure it, monitor it, and kill it. But now, I've sort of gone from being Darth Vader to Princess Leia. The saying which says, the more you tighten your grasp around shadow IT, the more technology functions will slip through your fingers. The reason shadow IT exists today is because IT is not doing its job. The day IT is truly able to bring to the enterprise the full potential of enterprise computing and value, shadow IT will not have a reason to exist. And we really see it that way. So when we talk with CIOs right now, they complain about shadow ITs. I'll say, well, then do a better job, and they will need to create their own relationships with Cisco and Amazon because they will get the answers from you.